The purpose of the Global CFO Council is to provide an educational and networking forum for senior financial executives in order to share best practices, discuss current financial issues, and to learn about current topics related to the performance of their jobs.
Good afternoon. How are you doing, sir?
Hey, Robert. I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having me on.
I am excited to do this. Ken is being so gracious. I refuse to take my jacket off because I'm freezing. And I was born in Florida, and so even South Carolina weather is cold to me. I really appreciate. Ken, where are you out of? I don't even know.
I'm based in Utah, which is really cold and snowy. In fact, Robert, in just a few minutes when we're done, I'll be taking my family up to go night skiing tonight. So
things that Robert Bendetti has never said.
There you go.
Ken Kaufman is the CFO at Community Dental Partners. And Ken, I think I saw a long and illustrious career at a bunch of different dental and medical companies as either the CFO or the Presidente. Is that correct, sir?
That's right. Yep.
And I think you got your undergraduate degree from, appropriately, BYU in business.
That's right.
And then an MBA from UGA. Is that correct?
That's right.
And something interesting that I found about you, and the bar has been set high. I think you are a podcaster. Are you do you run the Net Worth Hacks podcast?
I do. That's been a fun little side project where I talk about personal finance things that I've learned and studied about over the years. Yep.
Have your kids or family or friends or listeners been asking you if they should be investing in GameStop?
Yes. All kinds of weird questions right now about that.
I know it's my kids never cared about stocks and investing, and like a month ago, my son asked me to set up a brokerage account for him. I was like, "What are you talking about?"
Yep. That's
well,
the
cool.
world we live in. Yeah.
Perfect timing. If you are interested in that type of topic, you got to definitely check Ken out on the Network Hacks podcast. And it looks like you're the organizer of. Must be a wild and crazy group, the Dental Finance Forum.
Yep, we're just barely getting started. I have about 10 members, CFOs of organizations like mine. We're finding we want to benchmark some things with the industry because it's consolidating and somewhat unsophisticated at this point. And so we're trying to help each other figure out how to make our way through. So yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Well, if you are a finance leader at a dental practice or want to be, then reach out to Ken and get connected. That sounds like a fantastic group.
Yeah. Hey, thank you. Part of what you're doing's motivated me. So thank you for that.
Well, I've clearly set the bar low. Ken Kaufman, let's kick this off. Question numero uno. What is your favorite business book and why?
Yeah. So this dates back to actually when I was at BYU in an operations class and we read The Goal by Eli Goldratt. It is an absolute favorite. And when people ask me today if there's one business book, what would it be? I tell them that because the theory of constraints is relevant everywhere. I mean, just last week, we have an accounting process that got behind and I was explaining to the team because they said, hey, we'll go do this over here. And once they catch this up, then we'll be okay. And I said, no, you don't build up inventory. We put everybody on the machine that's behind and we fix that. And then we'll go solve the other constraint when we get there. So it's a business principle that I apply and use everywhere. And then I'm a big Patrick Lencioni fan. The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team. The Advantage is a great summary of a lot of his work, but those would be the places. Those are some of my go-tos.
Every time I'm on a hike with my son's Boy Scout troop, I think
Herbie.
There's always a Herbie.
Yep. That's right.
Question number 2. Ken, what is the best advice that you have ever received?
Well, this actually started with my grandfather, went to my father, and it came to me. And I'll tell you what the advice was, and then I'll give you the application because you may sort of scratch your head. He said, I don't care, son, I don't care what you become when you grow up. I just want you to be the best one you can possibly be. And that's applied, the way that spills over to my professional career is I feel like when you focus on bringing your best effort, that's the best you can do. And you can walk away and say, that's everything I had. And you watch it, like sports is fun because you can watch how their mindset is, they can go out and throw an interception and the next time come out and have completely forgotten about that and march the team down and win the game, with a winning touchdown pass. that mindset, it frees you up so much from regret or shame or worrying about, what did I do? If you just show up with best effort. And so it's been a piece of advice. I actually check myself on it, I'd say daily, to make sure, hey, am I bringing everything to this?
What great advice. And to think, if you have that kind of bar that high and you miss it by a little, you still stretched yourself and did pretty awesome. So, ooh, Ken is bringing it today. All right, question number 3. I'm looking for something good. Ken, what is a tool that you recently picked up or a habit that you've recently started that you have found beneficial?
I think I'm going to spin this a little bit, Robert. We'll see how you like this. But our organization has grown to the point that I actually just recently had to hire a director of FP&A, and I'm going to have to hire a director of accounting. And holy cow, it is amazing. I view them as these powerful human tools that are helping lift our organization up. And it's literally everything they're doing is helping to rise. And I should say, I've just hired the first director. The second director, we literally just finalized the job description and we're going to market on. We've got acquisitions and a lot of growth coming and stuff. So we're preparing, but it's the first time when we do this we have a big acquisition company coming. Once that's done, this will be the biggest company I've ever been the CFO for. And to get this level of support it's phenomenal. And it's freeing me up to do the stuff that I love to do.
Oh, that's so important, to hire the best. And it makes such a big difference when you have A players on the team. Good reminder, Ken. Question number 4, speaking of that current job, with all that acquisition going on, what is the best part of your current job?
So it all kind of comes together. Number one, I'm always focused on growth. In fact, when you mentioned a little bit about my past and career, everything I've done has been about where can I grow and have the highest impact. And this is an industry that's growing and consolidating very rapidly. It's also very complex and doesn't have the same level of enterprise sophistication that other industries do. I love all the complexity. And then the third piece is this is by far the most aligned and the most in momentum executive team I've ever been a part of. And I've been a part of many. And the CEO is phenomenal. The clinical directors and leaders are phenomenal, and we get along and we fight. We fight like crazy, but it's never about who's right. It's about what's right. We find truth and then we go execute. And it's those three coming together make this what I'm doing right now just my favorite place to be.
Well, that sounds awesome, and what a blessing to have a great company to work for and be a part of such a great team. Ken, let's pivot. What is something personal that you wouldn't mind sharing about yourself with the rest of the CFO Council members?
Yeah, married for 22 years, and I have 8 children. I knew I'd raise a brow on that one.
That is fantastic. And are you working on like a football team? Or are you going to stop at 8? What? I mean,
we're done. We're done. The oldest is just turned 21, and the youngest is 5. And the 5-year-old is the caboose of all cabooses.
Oh, that is amazing. My wife and I have not Kaufman level families, but we have bigger families. And when we got married, we wanted to have 5 kids, both. We were like, let's go for 5. And then we had 1, and we were like, well, let's go for 4. And then we had 2, and we were like, let's go for 2.
Yep.
So, Ken, you are a better man and better parent than I. Great job. Thank you for supporting the gross national product of the United States of America. It takes the new and the young to support the economy, and if nothing else, pay taxes to cover our Social Security here in 20 or 30 or 40 years. Thank you.
More than happy to do it. And I just, I love the tax credit I get every year. So I'm good.
Question number 6, last question. It happened so fast. What is something I should have asked that I did not ask? And what is your answer to that?
I think, and it goes back to probably an answer or a question and the way I answered it earlier, that this kind of seeped out already, but it's what's driven me professionally to grow and to do what I've done. And it's about growth. It's interesting. Every time I've been in a role and the company kind of slows down and things kind of start to steady out, I just sort of start to get bored. And so the thing that you didn't ask is, hey, what drives you and motivates you? And it's for growth. And it's not just about being at a company that grows. It's about, personal growth. It's about making sure that my family is in growth. It's about just not being who you were yesterday. We have a favorite saying in our organization, Robert, and it's, if you can look back 5 years ago at yourself and feel embarrassed about who you were, then you're doing well. You're on a great growth path. And those who are really, really extreme, they'll say, a year ago, I want to be embarrassed about who I was because I've grown so much. So it's a big driving force for who I am and how I approach things.
Well, Ken, I'm noticing a pattern here, and it is right in that sweet spot of what you're just talking about, that growth mindset. And you're an excellent communicator. Clearly, you are a podcaster, I can tell, because you very effectively and efficiently communicated. But I'm inspired. And I think it's also cool that you are living the walk. That you say, oh, growth mindset, professionally and personal, but you're walking the walk that your kids can see, and that they'll follow our example before they'll follow advice. And they can see, well, my dad's got multiple degrees, working at a company that's growing fast, podcaster, forum. You are clearly crushing it. So I am very blessed that I got to speak to you today, and thank you very much.
Well, and likewise, thanks so much for having me, Robert. It's been great.
Bye-bye.